Hey folks, Dr. Mike here for Renaissance Periodization, and today's video is about how to build your training program for hypertrophy. It is video number, number 7? Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, Scott the Video Guy, I knew it was video 7. I was just testing you, bro.
Sorry.
Don't mess with my audio. I'm out here. I'm Hollywood, baby. In any case, before I was so rudely interrupted, we're going to chat about how to do technique properly. And if something is bothering your joints, how to alter it. It's a big part of programming because you're going to guess as an exercise is good for you. And then you realize, you wrote it down, you programmed it into your hypertrophy app, and it just doesn't do what you want it to do, and it's hurting your joints. You have options, and we're going to talk about all of them and how the app enables you to exercise those options. So, this is all part of the series, by the way. Every Tuesday for a little while back and a little while into the future, we're going to be doing the How to Build Your Program series. And even though you don't have to use it, we do have a hypertrophy app now. It's out for release, and it's really sweet. I would recommend you use it because of two things. Thing number one is it's probably the best hypertrophy app that's ever been made. I've used a bunch of them. They're all pretty cool, but this one's the best because I designed it. And I have the brains, I think. So my mom tells me I'm pretty smart. Number two reason is that it gives me money, which is nice for me. So I'm highly incentivized to say, please get the app because Lamborghinis are awesome and they're unfortunately not free, though I have continued to petition my local congressperson for a Lamborghini subsidy. He's not answering the letters. So it's quite sad. So in any case, pro tip on the purchasing thing, buy it for a month. It's like $35 a month or something. Yeah, that's like, it's pretty expensive for an app, but one that you use every single day for your training, it starts to be a pretty good deal. But I got an even better deal. If you like it for a month and you're going to keep it and you're going to say, well, look, this is like how I'm going to train from now on. That's what I'm doing. Just buy the year because the year is discounted like an insane amount off of the monthly. So over month, if you buy the year, you're just going to save oodles of money. In any case, that's my marketing pitch. Let's get into technique for the joints. The right technique has to stimulate the muscle well. But if the right technique, quote unquote, is hurting your joints, making them feel really uncomfortable and creaky and hurting them over time, that's no good. How do you want your joints to feel to make sure that it's correct? First, you want them to feel stable. Weird, wiggly joint feeling, not good, can cause acute injury some point when you mess up and your joint goes this way and the rest of you goes that way. Stable. Comfortable. And I don't mean like, oh, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to my knees. I mean not actively painful or actively a feeling of incredible weakness. So you don't want insane joint weak feeling. You don't want incredible pain in your joints, and you don't want instability. As long as you have that, you have almost all of the criteria for a good exercise for your joints except one, and that's time. Some exercises can feel totally fine on your joints in one session, and maybe even in two, but sessions 3, 4, 5, through the weeks that you're training, they can really start to hurt. And most good exercises just don't do this or over any time scale that's relevant. I mean, it would take a year or two for you to just do the same exercise over and over, which is kind of stupid anyway, for your joints to start hurting in most good exercises, properly done technique. But some exercises, they're just not gelling with you. And then your joints hurt after session 2, and here's the real kicker. You got to start getting concerned if they're hurt even more at session 3. You come in, you start warming up session 3, you're like, bro, this isn't even any weight on the bar. My knees hurt. What the hell is going on? That's not a great sign. You have something to do about it. The first thing you have to do about it is to make sure you're doing the technique correctly. And the way we do this in the hypertrophy app is, let's say we have a barbell bent row. You got these little icons on the top right here. You got a little icon that looks like YouTube. You click on it, and look, it's Jared Feather demonstrating a barbell bent row. And if you put your headphones on, it's going to be me talking about it in the background, going through the technique. Every single exercise that we've indexed has a video to go with it. Over the time that the app is out, we're going to refilm and film extra exercises that you guys suggest to us. By the way, there's a really easy way to just, if you add your custom exercises, we can tabulate the custom exercises everyone else is adding. And it's easy for us to, every several months, go and film those, get them in, and then they have videos. So there are video instructions for pretty much every single exercise in the app. So if you're like, man, the bent rows are hurting my elbows, what the hell am I doing? You click on there, you see the video. Oh, crap, I'm pulling up like this. It's supposed to be down. Got it. You fix it, and then it's good to go. So you can always fix your technique. Another point is the way that Jared is demonstrating the technique is one way, which is cool. But there are slight alterations you can make that make you better. So gripping the bar here for close grips could be great for your triceps, but it hurts your elbows. If you just move your grip out by 1 finger length, it can completely fix any elbow pain and feel almost as good or even better for your triceps muscle as far as stimulus is concerned. So when you see an exercise technique demoed, make sure you realize that small alterations of which way you point your feet, how far apart your feet are, which way you point your hands, how far apart your hands are, where you're moving exactly. Do you move to the clavicle with a pull down? Do you move to the upper chest? Those are not right or wrong answers. There's a spectrum of totally awesome options, and within that spectrum, you have to find by experimenting which one hurts your joints the least. So if you're running into some joint pain, don't just abandon the exercise and be like, well, like, shit, this isn't working for me. I've done the technique. It doesn't work. It still hurts my joints. Try to play with some grip widths, foot positions, where you're pulling and pushing the bar to and from, and just one tiny little fix can fix it all. Let me give you an example. In the skull crusher, for me, I used to do skull crushers and then I stopped because it would just nuke my elbows every single time. And that's when I would start the skull crusher and my first movement would be to have my fist go back towards my head, back over this way. I was like, skull crushers just don't work for me. They just fuck my elbows up. I hate them. I wrote a letter to my congressman. Skull crushers are hurting my elbows. Again, no response. Then, just on sheer dumb luck, I was playing around, and what I did was I broke at my elbow first towards the hip. So the first movement wasn't me pushing my fist back. It was me pushing my elbow down. Once I got that break, then I would push the fist back. No elbow pain ever again. And I'm skull crushing like a gazillion pounds. My triceps, the biggest they've ever been. Small technique. I know it sounds fucking wacky. I know it sounds like some Joel Seedman bullshit. But one little tiny technique fix can actually make your joints feel amazing versus an almost externally the exact same exercise if you look at somebody else do it. This takes a bit of sort of insight into how you feel, but it can help you along. So don't just abandon an exercise. Now, the app does all kinds of cool stuff with tracking your stimulus to fatigue ratio, and it does this by assessing how your joints feel. So you don't just have to remember this kind of stuff. You can actually note it in the app, and it'll ask you questions. So for example, on barbell bent row over here, we're going to do 2 sets. We checked in the first one already. We check in the second one, and it asks us pump and workload and all that stuff. We'll get to that in another video. At the top, it's going to ask us a question about joint pain. And it asks, how did your joints feel during the barbell bent row? And you can say, oh, no pain, because legit, like that's what it should be, hopefully. You can say low pain, like, it was a little something there, nothing I'm too scared of. Moderate pain, and then a lot of pain. Okay, so you can click whichever one of these you want. Say no pain, we'll just push whatever crap here. We'll get that later. And boom, the app remembers your joint pain. Later, it will start to make exercise recommendations based on how much joint pain and stimulus you get out of an exercise. It will remember all of your entries forever. And so if you think, man, should I do barbell bent rows next month or should I do cable rows? I forgot which one works better for me. The app will remember which one works better for you. And if you click the drop down, it'll push up the bent row higher, let's say, or the cable row higher, whichever one was better, and the other exercise gets pushed lower. So the best suggestion of what you should do next is something the app is going to keep track of. Now, let's say your joint pain is awful, and you're like, this exercise sucks. I hate it. I want to replace it. What do? Because you already built your mesocycle. Like, do I have to go and rebuild a new meso? Nope. The answer is no. You go up here and you just go to replace exercise. And it says sets have already been performed. So are you sure you want to replace it? Because it'll delete all that data. By the way, you can replace any other exercise that you haven't done yet. Let's say you're just warming up for it and you're replacing it. So you can do this anytime you want. Say ignore. And then it goes, okay, it's assuming it's back, so it's going to keep that for you. You could just make a new exercise in the top menu here if you wanted. But you're like, well, a barbell row sucked, and I'm going to go to cable flexion row, and I'm going to repeat until the end of the meso because I'm fucking done with barbell rows. They're toasting my elbows. Replace, and voila, it's got cable flexion row right here, replaced. And by the way, because this was a duplicate exercise from our last time's discussion, barbell bent row stays here, and you can always change that if you want. So now we have a new exercise. Hey, this is good stuff. It works. Folks, that's it. Just make sure to remember this. Hypertrophy training is not a situation in which you want continuous chronic escalating joint pain. I've seen this done at a bunch of gyms all the time, and it's terrible. There's some old guys like, yeah, got a leg press, starts wrapping his knees. What you doing with the knee wrap there, buddy? He's like, yeah, knees are going to hurt. I got to get through it. Like, but it shouldn't be hurting if your technique is right, if your loading is correct, if your minor technique adjustments are good, you're paying attention. And honestly, bro, if that doesn't fix it, stop fucking leg pressing. There's a trillion other quad exercises you could be doing that shouldn't hurt your knee. Unless you're really old and really beat up like me and everything hurts. I'm kidding, it doesn't. Do not settle for joint pain. Don't let anyone tell you like, oh yeah, skull crushers just fuck up your elbows, but you want big triceps is what it takes. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. In any case, link in the description. Give the app a download. Pay me money. I need a Lamborghini. Next week, we are going to talk about how to interpret and rate and manage your pumps and your soreness, what they tell you about growth response, and how the app handles them as well. And it's the only app that does this, as far as I know. See you guys next time.